Bună dimineața tuturor! Mă bucur că sunteți iar prezenți aici, la evenimentul de multiplicare a proiectului CORTTEX. Astăzi avem invitați din străinătate, din Grecia. Vor avea două prezentări interesante. Una este despre un soft de logopedie, iar cealaltă este despre o platformă de resurse educaționale pentru copiii cu cerințe sau cu nevoi speciale. Va începe mai întâi prezentarea despre softul de logopedie, motiv pentru care o voi saluta pe doamna Angeliki Mouzaki. Hello, Angeliki.
Hello. Good morning from Greece, from Crete.
Thank you very much for your presentation. People are very interested in your project, in your speech therapy soft. I sent the link for this transmission in all the speech therapy groups on Facebook, so we expect that a lot of Romanian participants to see this video, this transmission. Pentru participanții din România, doamna Angelica Mouzaki este conferențiar la Universitatea din Creta și a dezvoltat împreună cu echipa de acolo un soft de logopedie. După ce ascultăm prezentarea doamnei, o să avem prezentarea unei alte doamne din Grecia referitoare la acea platformă de resurse online pentru copiii cu CES. Vă urez succes. Angeliki, I wish you all the best, so you can start. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I'm very glad to be invited today. And I would like to thank Roxandra Folostina for the invitation to present our work and to extend an invitation in our department at the University of Crete. And one of the reasons I'm very glad to be invited today, is that we all share the same interest and we all want to understand the developmental trajectory of language and literacy skills in children and how to assist children who struggle before it is too late. It's a great opportunity for me to benefit from your presence and share our work in order to identify common issues and ways to resolve. Let me begin the presentation. I'm sorry. Please let me know if you can see the presentation now. Okay, great. So today I will present an overview of a language assessment that we have developed for young Greek children. And also, I will talk about administration issues mostly, and I will answer any questions you may have. I also could share with you some of the data we have collected as part of our continuous studies in investigating psychometric properties of this assessment. But before we begin, I would like to present the group that is behind this work. And except me, there are four very dynamic colleagues who are working in this project for the last 10 years. That's how long it has taken us to be at this point. And these colleagues are Asimina Rali from the University of Athens, Faye Antoniou, again from University of Athens, Vasiliki Diamandi, currently at University of Oslo, and Sofia Papaioannou, who is a psychologist at the Special Education School in Larissa. And of course, I should mention the tremendous help and all the contribution of INTE, Maria Karavelaki, Giorgo Papapanagiotou, because they have been instrumental in making this assessment possible, and they are equal partners in our team. So, as you know, you already know very well, today we have a great deal of evidence regarding children's early progress in learning to read, and we know that it depends to a large extent on their oral language skills. This evidence comes from several large-scale longitudinal studies that have shown us that language skills and knowledge of alphabet letters before the beginning of the school, or right at the beginning of the school, like in kindergarten or in first grade, are significant predictors of children's future reading ability. We have also several meta-analytic studies that support this claim, and I'm sure you would agree that it's quite crucial to profit from this knowledge in order to develop valid and reliable predictors for early identification of at-risk children that we can link to effective interventions. As we know today, well-organized and well-executed intervention programs can have positive effects in children's literacy achievement that last in time. The development of a new, of our norm referenced digital tool is called Logometro, and was directed by this need, the need to have a comprehensive language assessment for preschool and early school years, and a tool that could form the basis for a valid and reliable screening and diagnostic decisions. More specifically, Logometro has been designed to map the language developmental paths in children, as well as their difficulties, to provide us with a complete and descriptive profile of children's oral language and emergent literacy skills, and to assist us in the identification of children who are at risk for developmental language disorder or specific learning disabilities. Most language assessment tools usually focus upon one or maybe few language subcomponents, and usually most of the language assessment tools that we have available focus on phonology, vocabulary, and I'm referring to the most well-known internationally assessments, as is CEL5 or the preschool language scales. There are not many standardized psychometric tools that utilize all language subcomponents in order to provide us with a holistic profile. In Greek, especially, we had only two other standardized assessments that they were focusing on vocabulary, and the lack of valid and reliable language measures for preschool and early school year children was so great that led us to develop and standardize Logometro. Another issue is we know that most of the screening batteries or the clinical assessments are lengthy, are time-consuming, and children are very reluctant in participating. Most assessments often require highly trained examiners, and this is why we decided to develop an assessment battery that is child-friendly and is administered through mobile devices like tablets. Logometro is administered through an Android application for mobile devices that has been developed especially for this project, and it aims to produce a comprehensive battery that is also commercially available. For this reason, we designed and constructed the application very carefully to our detailed specifications. And we wanted to incorporate all task directions in proper voicing, in proper sound articulation. We incorporated practice examples, proper feedback. Everything has been done and piloted before in a very detailed and careful manner. The application utilized child-friendly graphics, designs that they were also developed especially for each language task. And the touch screens helped us to direct record all of children's responses. For example, the narratives, the expressive speech, and other manual responses, the choices that the children were made. It gave us the application, I'm sorry, gave us also the opportunity to apply automatically ceiling rules in the assessment. And this way, it ensured a high assessment fidelity among the different examiners. The data, the language samples, were uploaded to a parallel web-based application, and during the standardization process, we were able to score all those data across all the language domains. Okay, now I will try to show you, I'm sorry, let me change the mode of the presentation and see if I can show you a little glimpse of the, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see the video? This is a small sample of the assessment process. We have a 4-year-old who participates in the assessment using the tablet. The task that you see, it's the listening comprehensions task. And the child has to look at 4 different pictures and listen to a sentence while selecting the right picture for each sentence she could hear. For example, the child is asked to, let me give you, I don't know if you can see, she's asked to select the person who paints the walls, the glass that is empty, to select the fewer pencils, and here to find which child has long blonde hair, and so on. Let me go back. And I'm sorry, let me select the other mode. Okay. As I said, Logometro is administered through the application and includes 24 different tasks that I will present you in a little bit. These tasks have been selected and they were determined during an extensive pilot that we did. And in our pilot, we included 237 children from 4 geographically dispersed provinces in Greece, specifically from Attica, Macedonia, Thessaly, and Crete. And they were a representative proportion of socioeconomic backgrounds. The children who participated in the study, of course, had written consent from their parents or guardians, and the study protocol was approved by the Greek Ministry of Education and the Research Ethics Committee of the University of Crete. As I said before, Logometro has been designed to cover a wide range of language skills in children between the ages of 4 and 7. Administration of the complete battery provides a total index of the overall language development, and it yields specific scores on 6 oral language domains, as you see them on the slide: semantic knowledge, listening comprehension, narrative skills, pragmatic competence, phonological awareness, and morphological awareness. And there are 2 scores related to early literacy development. I should make a note here that the 24 tasks take about an hour to be administered as a whole, but the examiner can select and choose which areas I would like to assess. The comprehensive report that is produced at the end provides data scores for those domains, those skill domains. And we have arranged the task sequence in a way that provides a variety of language modalities and maintains the child's interest in the assessment and also the child's engagement. There are different tasks that tap receptive skills, and they are followed by tasks that are expressive, more expressive. So this way there is a variety, and the child can go through without losing interest. Another thing I would like to mention is that in each task, we have included 2 practice items, that they were followed by feedback, proper feedback, and they are repeated up to 3 times if this is needed. So as you see here, all language domains are assessed very thoroughly, with more than 1 task that combine both receptive and expressive modalities. And as you can see, semantic knowledge, for example, combines child's achievement on 3 different tasks, 1 receptive and 2 expressive. Phonological awareness, as we can see in the next slide, is assessed both at the syllabic and the phonemic level. And we used 4 different tasks, a total of 8. And in a similar fashion, morphological awareness is assessed in both the metalinguistic and epilinguistic levels, utilizing word production and judgment tasks. All of these tasks, as I just mentioned, are presented in a fixed order that has been set. And for younger children who could reach the ceiling levels faster, the administration of the complete battery can take an hour or less, while the first graders may take a little bit longer. Now, let's see each one of the tasks. First of all, receptive vocabulary includes 40 items, 40 words that are presented to children. And there are 4 images that the child is looking, and she or he is asked to choose the image that best represent the word he or she hears. For example, the child is given the word dolphin, and no, this one is the practice example. The word is horse, and there are distractions. We have very carefully selected the distractors, and there is usually one distractor from the same semantic category. For example, another animal, a word with a phonetic similarity, and an unrelated word. Of course, the target word. In order to end this task, a ceiling of 6 successive incorrect responses is applied automatically from the application, and that terminates the task and proceeds to the next one without, of course, being noticed by the child. The child doesn't know that he or she has finished because he had 6 incorrect responses. The next one is the expressive vocabulary or naming task that consists of 20 items. This is very simple. Each child is asked to look at the picture of an object and then name it. We see here the practice example. We have test items that include soap, a cherry, don't remember what else, a coffee maker. The child says the name of the picture. Again, automatic scoring is completed through a selection of a correct and incorrect button, and that is pressed by the examiner. And we have taken special care so this is not noticeable by the child. So the examiner will select if the child's response was correct or incorrect, and will press the appropriate button for this purpose. The next one is the expressive vocabulary or word definition task. And here children are asked to give a brief definition for a number of words. We have 20 words again. And this is very similar to tasks that you have seen in the included in the WISC or WIPSI. It's the same scoring in Logometro. We use 2 points when the children give a proper definition, and examples or other descriptors are scored with 1 point or 0 if the child has given an incorrect answer. So we are scoring for word understanding and the richness of the expression. The children's responses are recorded automatically by the application, and the scoring is done later. And for this reason, there is no ceiling in this task. This listening comprehension task is the one that you saw before in the video. The child is invited to look carefully at 4 different images again. Only here, the children listen to a sentence instead of a word, and then have to choose the appropriate image that corresponds to the sentence that has been said. Here, for example, the child is asked to point to the ball that is under the table. And we have distractors, a ball on the table, under a chair, etc. Here we have a ceiling rule of 4 or 5, I'm not sure, incorrect responses. That is again applied automatically without being noticed by the child. And here the child's manual response is by pointing to the picture on the touch screen and is recorded automatically. Here we have a story comprehension questions task where the children listen to a short story that is accompanied by 6 pictures that depict the scenes of the story episodes, and they are presented one at a time. What you see here is the final screen with all 6 in a sequence. The story is presented to the child by the narrator, and the child could look at each one of the scenes separately as they are presented along with the narration of the story. At the end, children are asked to answer simple questions about the heroes, about their actions, and some interpretation of the story events. These answers that the children give are recorded automatically, and we score them subsequently with scores of 0, 1, or 2 again. And 0 corresponds to false, 1 is for insufficient or underdeveloped answers, and 2 is for complete or developed answers. Another task that is similar but refers to story retelling sorry, is assessed again with 6 simple pictures that accompany the story. And we have 1 short story for all age groups. As you see, the theme is interesting and is compatible with the existing knowledge of most children, and refers to a simple I think here, that's the right. I went a little bit ahead of myself. This is the story retelling, and the story refers to a simple incident that is faced by 2 children playing in a park, and there is a dog that interferes with their game. The story has a simple story structure. There are 3 leading roles. There is an introduction, there is an event, there is a problem, and a solution. Each child has been instructed to listen carefully and then to retell the story while they can look at the pictures and bring them back and be able to see again all that have happened that they listened to before. All the retelling is recorded by the device, and we use it later for transcription, and we apply a coding scheme that we have developed for scoring the children's retelling. And the third story-related task is the free narration, where the children have the ability, the children here are asked to produce a narrative without having listened to a story sample before. And we use the same format. We have, again, 6 pictures. They follow the format that they have seen before in the story comprehension and the retelling. So in some way they have been prepared to produce their own story. And the pictures are allow the children to make different interpretations for their story. And it's a very familiar theme. It's a child's birthday party. And we ask the children to observe carefully and make up the story about a specific sequence. Some children are selected to focus upon the preparations, the party preparations. Some children make a story about the clown that enters the scene, and there is a baby who is scared and asks, mommy is taking the child away and comforts the baby. So there are all different kinds of things that the children can use to produce a story that is automatically recorded again. And we use the recordings we transcribe the recordings, and we use the same coding scheme that we have used to score the retellings to evaluate their narrations. Finally, there is another very interesting task that evaluates children's pragmatic skills. And we have used 11 illustrated scenarios that are presented to children with 21 questions. There is usually 1 to 3 questions on each scenario based on the different scenes and pragmatic aspects that we evaluate. And this task has been adapted from the pragmatics profile of everyday communication skills in children by Deward and Summers. And we have adapted it to Greek, taking into account cultural and linguistic differences. And we found that it was very important to use a task like this with illustrated scenarios to provoke interactional skills with the children. And we are able to elicit responses that relate to contextual variation, as well as items that can highlight the child's intention or ability to communicate. As you can see, there are, again, child-friendly pictures, and we have selected familiar experiences for these age groups. For example, eating lunch with a parent, going to bed, receiving a gift. And the questions that we have used for this pragmatics task have been validated during our extensive ILO testing, and were intended to assess context interpretation, communicative intent, and proper responses according to the communication context. And the children are given a practice example, and they are familiarized with the task at the beginning, and they have to reply to 3 questions and then receive immediate feedback. Again, all children's responses are automatically recorded and transcribed and scored later. Now we go to the more traditional tasks that I'm sure you're using as well, the phonological, morphological awareness tasks. For the phonological awareness, we use common measures such as syllable and phoneme identification, word analysis to syllables, and syllable elision and phoneme elision. For example, in this identification of similarities task that contains 7 items, each child is asked to listen to the target word. There is a target image, and this one is banana, as well as 3 other images that are displayed by the application, and they have to choose which one of the three began with the same syllable or with the same phoneme in the next one as banana. And they see banana, apple, which is milo in Greek, bala, that has the same initial syllable as banana, and ice cream, which is pagodo, which is not the same. So they have to choose by selecting the right one. We have again selected the target and the distractors from the same semantic category and words with similar phonemic characteristics. And there is a similar, as I said, phonemic identification task. And then there are more tasks that have to do with combining syllables and phonemes, phonemic synthesis, for example, where they have to compose words from a sequence, and phonemic deletion. The child is asked to listen carefully to a word and then to repeat the word by deleting the initial phoneme. For example, the children are given the directions, say the word gifts, which is Dora. Say the word again without the. All these tasks are discontinued automatically after 4 consecutive errors. Then we have 5 morphology-related tasks that assess children's ability to detect, to identify inflections and derivations in sentences using words and pseudo words, and they replace verbs and nouns. For example, as you can see here, it's a derivational morphemes production task, and children see a picture, and at the same time, they listen to a sentence with a target word, and at the beginning of a second, they listen to the beginning of a second sentence that is syntactically altered. Here, for this particular example, the child listens to the sentence, Mom kisses the child. Mom gives her child a, and the child is required to produce the word kiss. Mom gives her child a kiss. And for this task, we have covered a variety of derivational phonemes, denoting property, profession, material, actions, comparatives. And again, it's automatically scored, and the examiner is using again the correct or incorrect button without being noticed by the child. And in the epilinguistic level, children are asked to produce pseudo words with proper inflectional or derivational suffixes. And all of those are presented in a game format in order to account for the pseudo word use. We have introduced the animal heroes that they're supposed to use their own language. So all the pseudo words are supposed to be turtle language. And in this particular task, which is an inflectional morpheme judgment task, children are presented with a picture, and we have the turtle that performs an action, here drinks juice, and they have to listen to 2 sentences that are spoken by the 2 penguins, the penguin figures that you see, left and right. and they have to choose the right sentence. Each pair of the sentences contains a pseudo word, which is either singular or plural, and it has to match the picture. For example, here the one penguin says the turtle frames, pseudo word for drinks. The turtle frames juice, and the other penguin says the turtle cream juice. So the child needs to choose which penguin spoke the right sentence. Going ahead, we could see a very straightforward task where the child is presented with an alphabet letter in both upper and lowercase form, and the child is asked to name the letter and the sound that it makes. Only the answer about the letter sound is scored as correct or incorrect by the examiner. And this is something that can be done very easily and quickly. This task is the invented writing task, where the child is asked to write first its name on paper in a way that in case that we have 4-year-olds who don't write, we ask them to draw something or what she or he likes to write, and then the examiner takes a photo with the device and scores the child's writing later. The second related task in this category, in this domain, involves the same process, only the children are asked to write the sentence, "Mom, I love you." And as you can see, there is a very specific coding scheme that we use to score children's invented writing. This is a simple application interface that allows examiners to navigate through the tasks and also presents the progress that is made. As you can see on the left-hand side, there's the sequence of the 24 tasks that presents the progress that is made within the battery. And I would like to show you very quickly some of the applications features for scoring, which are being developed again in a very thorough way. And it's a great assistance for all examiners, because we're able to use all the information and everything that the back end of the application has given us to score the narratives. For example, as I mentioned before, children's narrations are recorded by the device, and then we could listen to them and transcribe them in a certain window that is being, as you see, this is the window that we can use to type the child's narration, and then we can use all the criteria that are presented on the bottom of the screen, and in a very simple way, by clicking to 0, 1, or 2, to score in a very efficient way. As I said before, 0 is the immature, 1 is the developing score, and 2 is the mature or sufficient. Another very helpful feature of the application is, as you see, there are I buttons that if you click them, they take you directly to examples and the rules for scoring. So we use here the macro structure criteria to evaluate the story grammar and the temporal sequencing of the actions. And the story grammar includes the introduction, if the child has used, for example, the conventions, if the children have referred to place, the time, the heroes, and if there is development of characters, the state of mind of characters, their feelings, and if there is a problem reporting, result, conclusion, and of course temporal sequencing refers to the episodic structure and the succession of the story elements. And the individual scores are produced by summing all the scores for all the six elements, and the total scoring range is from 0 to 12. And for this scoring, we have taken care of reliability, inter-rater reliability, by coding and scoring by independent raters in a sample of approximately 30 children, randomly selected. And we had a quite high agreement percentage. On average, it was higher than 90%. Here we see photos of children's writings that were scored with an 8 point scale. Is presented again here with instructions. They begin by assigning 0 to no writing at all, and 1 for scribblings, and 2 for letter-like forms or something. I mean, there are quite detailed directions for this as well. Now, here we see an example of scoring for the pragmatic knowledge task. And the scene that we use here is 2 children that who are in the park with the swings. And the question is, which of the children in the picture is happy? Of course, the criterion here is the recognition of positive emotion. And some of the answers that we have elicited in our normative sample include that the child who's in the swing, the child with the yellow blouse, the blonde child, or the child who sits or who smiles. And there are some other subsequent questions, like what should the children say to the boy in order to swing also. And the criteria we are using are specific to each scenario and particular questions. And they have to do with understanding of the speaker's intention, the request for a specific reaction, for example, to get down from the swing, to seek and maintain personal attention through use of the appropriate referent, and politeness, expression of feelings, this type of things. When the scoring is completed, the application produces automatically a report like the one that is shown here, that provides in graphic form an index of overall language development, as well as detailed specific scores for each language domain that is assessed. Here you can see the particular domains, and let me use my pointer This is the overall language score. In our report, we have taken care to indicate by the green color that is on the upper end, the above average performances, and below the midline is the 50th percentile and under 50th percentile. And except the color, that you can see that there are indications of the language achievement. Here says low, borderline, average, and high. And underneath, there are indications of the different components, domains, like listening comprehension, semantic knowledge, narrative knowledge, narrative speech, phonological awareness, morphological awareness, pragmatic competence, and knowledge of letter sound correspondences. And here, in a separate column, there are indications of early literacy development. So there are different scores for each domain indicated very clearly with the percentile rank. And also there is a green-red type of bullet indicating if the specific performance is worrisome or not. And the examiner has the opportunity to get this report produced as it produces automatically. And it contains name of the child, all the demographics and basic information, as well information about what is logometro. In this way, parents or teachers can have some assistance in interpreting the information that is included. And let me take back. Oh, and the second page, as you see, there are several. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. There are information about some basic recommendations that are also included automatically according to the overall language performance. There are basic recommendations. If, for example, if the child is underachieving in semantic knowledge, the recommendations would include word games and reading books and engage the child in meaningful conversations in order to assist with vocabulary development. But at the same time, there is an extra space that is provided for the examiner to add more specialized recommendations and directions for the parents and the children. So this is the report that accompanies the logometro administration. It's very detailed, as you saw. And for all of those things that I have just presented to you, you can read in more details in several publications that we have that came out the last 5 years, and they present specific psychometric properties and the validation work that has been done. And of course, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Angeliki. It was very interesting. So there were many people who saw your presentation on YouTube. I would like to collaborate with you. Maybe we can, and Maria Karavelaki, to translate this soft in Romanian, because there are so many speech therapy software in Romania, but they are not so complex as yours. And what is interesting regarding your soft is that you have this assessment report. That's the best part, because the software that are now in Romania don't have this option to generate, yes, an assessment report. So this is a big plus for your software. There are not any question on YouTube, because I stayed with the laptop and asked participants that are online if they have any questions. If they have, I will ask them to write on CORTTEX page, to give us a Facebook page, on CORTTEX Facebook page, to send us a message, and I will read the message and reply to them. And congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. And we're open, and we'll be very happy if we can collaborate or assist in any way we can.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. You are the best.
Okay. So should I disconnect now?
Yeah, we will see. Technical. We have here people that know what to do.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Bye.
Bye.
O să facem o mică pauză, nu? Pe online, astfel încât să pregătim următoarea prezentare. De ce? Ai pus o pauză? E o pauză pe YouTube acum? Nu? Pune o pauză. Suntem din nou la o nouă prezentare, suntem din nou împreună la o nouă prezentare despre design universal și dezvoltarea unor resurse educaționale pe principiul designului universal. O avem invitată pe Maria Gelastopoulou, it's very difficult name for Romanians, de la Institutul de Politici Educaționale din Grecia. Maria va prezenta o serie de materiale care au fost create pe acest principiu despre care eu tot am vorbit în cadrul cursurilor mele și am vorbit și ieri despre asta. Eu zic să o urmărim și dacă sunt întrebări, cei care sunt în online să ne scrie pe chat, dacă sunt întrebări în sală, răspundem la întrebări. Maria, you have the floor.
I can have it here. Okay. My name is Maria Gelastopoulou from Greece. First of all, I am teacher for special education. And the last 12 years, I am responsible for Institute of Educational Policy in Greece. Institute of Educational Policy is an organization as a part of Ministry of Education, and I am responsible for issue regarding inclusive and special education. We want to implement inclusive education. Oh, okay. We are implementing many projects about this field. I will present a project that improve inclusive education to implement in the class. Okay. I begin and I send first of all the project aims. This project aims to ensure an equal, inclusive public education for all students through the support of students, teachers, caregivers, parents, and those involved in the educational and learning process, utilizing technology and providing multiple free, digitally accessible materials, tools, and instruments. We want to implement actions to all this level, because we believe that inclusion is not only educational problem or themes, but it is more complicated. So we want to implement actions to the society, to the political and the educational level. This project is only project in our countries that cover permanent needs in the field of spatial and inclusive education on multiple levels, and in addition contributes to meeting the contractual obligation of our country according to the referring law ratified by the UN International Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability and the optional protocol. Another goal is to reduce and prevent premature abandonment of school. The ultimate goal is to ensure effective, continuous and quality learning for all, regardless of specific characteristic, condition or geographical boundaries through the use of technology. The target group. The target group are students with and without disabilities, teachers, parents, students, all involved in the learning and educational process. The program covers the learning and educational needs of all forms of disability, for example, deafness, blindness, mobility difficulties, intellectual disability, autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and special educational needs generally. Okay, thank you. The basic principles of implementation of the project based on basic principle of inclusive education, universal design for learning, the UN International Convention on Human Rights of People with Disability. We want to ensure European accessibility criteria standards about accessibility, implementation of research data, and sustainability of project. So we can see the action of the project. In the context of the program, a variety of actions are implemented in multiple axes as follows: informing, raising awareness of students, teachers, parents, caregivers, and the wider local community about the inclusive philosophy and disability, as well as the acceptance of diversity. Training of general and special education teachers and others involved in the educational and learning process on issues and good inclusive practices relating to disability and acceptance of diversity through in-school face-to-face training days at national level, creating an asynchronous training platform, I saw it later, named IEPX, with appropriate courses that cover all the above training needs for continuous support of teachers and all those involved in the educational process. The platform is based on the open source EDX platform of Harvard and MIT University. Another aim is to develop teacher guides that include activities and good practices for the formation of an inclusive culture in school. I will show these guides later. Also, adaptation of textbooks in different formats so they are accessible to all students with disability. For example, in Greek Sign Language for the deaf, Braille for the blind, easy to read, in an audio format, etc. All deliverables are available to all schools in our country. Development of universally designed educational material above and beyond the school curriculum textbook, that digital application for student education. Development of tools for the pedagogical evaluation of students by teachers regarding the development of the individualized educational program. The first axis is the adaptation of textbooks from first to fifth grades of elementary school to all accessibility formats to meet different educational needs. For example, blindness, deafness, physical disability, intellectual disability, autism, attention and concentration problems, etc. Development of universally designed educational material and software for students with disability, which has been delivered in alternative multiple ways. This material supports the implementation of the curricula and aims to raise awareness of the school community, family, and society on issues of acceptance or diversity. Educational material about teachers. We have developed 12 teacher guides for the education of students with disability that cover the needs of students with any form of disability. I saw some same. This is the site. For example, this is one of these guides about awareness. This is another guide about implementation of social story in order to educate about social emotional δεξιότητες, abilities. Okay. This is a guide about children with autism. And we have for all type of disability. There is no time to show all this guide. 13 packets of digital accessible educational material to improve all this guide, to implement the access in the classroom. And 19 digital application of universally decided educational material in support of the school curriculum textbook for the teaching of subject and the achievement of the learning educational goals. The main characteristic of all the application is that they are free and open. They can be downloaded from the project web page. They can be installed easily on personal PC. Such offline applications are, for example, applications for students with mobility disability that cover subjects such as self-care, emotion, traffic education, time sequence, completion of stories. Maria later showed this application. Okay. Application for social life, exploring the environment without the help of an attendant. The application include groups with virtual visits to shops, services, music, etc. and other place. Application on factual use of language with functional vocabulary, concept, phrases, and languages activities that a child encounters in daily life. The application has standly time, access interface, performance log, file with the history of each student, etc. characteristics. Customized textbooks to enhance accessibility using the easy-to-read method. Bilingual application for teaching Greek Sign Language as a first language with native deaf sign languages model, interactive subtitles, video, etc. Educational material for raising awareness and developing an inclusive classroom. One teacher guide to raise awareness of students, teachers, parents, and with their community about the inclusive philosophy and acceptance of disability and diversity through music, theatrical art, fairy tales, and experiential activities. It's included 5 original storybooks, fairy tales, to raise awareness of students, teachers, and caregivers on issue of acceptance of diversity and disability. This is a guide, very interesting, as teachers say to us. There are 2 parts. The first part have all the theoretical framework about inclusive education, what does inclusive education means, the social and medical model approach of disability, all the practices to collaborate between general and special teachers, all the strategies about differentiation, the instruction to meet the needs of all children in the classroom, because in Greece, in many schools, disabled students are in general class with 2 teachers, one general and one special, and the 2 teachers decide and implement all the action. So they have to know how to collaborate and how to differentiate the instruction. Social stories for the development of social emotional skills and life skills and independent living. 52 social stories we have developed as for educating students with autism and other disabilities in developing social emotional skills. The teacher guide includes detailed steps and instruction for developing new social stories by teachers with examples and templates and instruction for applying them in the classroom. Educational material for COVID, adaptation of government guidelines for COVID protection in multiple accessible formats. This is all the formats as the other educational material, and we have translate in English a format, a social story, this is a social story, It's the same. It's available on the site, so we can see all this material. And it's free for all the teachers, all the parents. This is the same. And then another format is easy to read. With all principles of easy to read method. We want to translate all these materials in English if we have money, we see. Another material is multimedia library. What is it? The development of this application for the education of students, for deafness students, was created to cover the need for designing and developing differentiated and accessible educational resources and materials drawing from the principle of universal design for learning. The application is free and accessible to everyone interested or involved in the teaching and learning process. The application allows users to browse the filmed content through the use of time-defined transcripts set next to the video in the form of selectable menus that link to the respective time point in the video. The educational content is rendered both in natural voice, in Greek Sign Language, and includes videos, transcripts that can be read by the users. This multisensory approach and use of a bilingual educational environment motivates students, increases their participation, allows access to information, and enhances understanding of the teaching material. Maybe we can see this application. Why? Good work. Why? We choose the words we want. It's a story or a fairy tale. We can go where we want. Oh, why? No, why? I don't know. No, but I can't do something about it. Yes, no. No, why? I don't share this. I share the library. Yes, I have minimized, but yes, I have minimized it. Yes. Το έκαμε ήδη. Okay. Μα κι εγώ έτσι κι αλλιώς άλλο δείχνω. Και άλλο δείχνω εγώ, άλλο είναι. Γιατί όμως. Και έχει κολλήσει. Τώρα είσαι εντάξει. choose a story, and we can choose ναι. Ναι, δεν ξέρω γιατί τώρα είναι. Okay. So. Okay, this is another application. This is Epictionary in Greek Iconolexiko. Is a new application for searching images. Iconolexiko is a functional visual dictionary developed mainly for persons with cognitive difficulties, with limited or no ability to speak, read, and write. Iconolexicon material is used freely and free of charge for any educational purpose in many different ways for basic communication and creation of educational material such as social story, books, lists, calendars, communication cards, stickers, etc. Currently, we have about 6,000 images, sketches, and pictograms. The user can also modify or compose the image or format them to serve differentiation purposes, inclusive practices, or even grammatical structures. Online lexicon in Greek Sign Language is another application, includes words and concepts from many thematic units which are rendered with images and video in Greek Sign Languages. We have to find here the words we want, and then we have in Greek Sign Language with subtitles and audio format. Educating students with autism spectrum disorder, good practices for the school inclusion is another material that includes a teacher's guide and case study. Teacher's guide includes good inclusive educational practices for students with autism and alternative ways of communicating. Educational material for deaf students, digital educational material for deaf students or with hearing problems for teaching of Greek Sign Language as a first language for kindergarten to third grade of primary schools. In our country, Greek Sign Language is mandatory as a first language now. 3 web applications for teaching of Greek Sign Language as a first language for third and fourth grades of elementary school and maths fifth grades we have developed. Educational material for students with attention and concentration problems. It includes a teacher's guide and case study. Teacher's guide includes good practices for school inclusion about students with attention and concentration problems. Educational material for students with mobility disabilities, digital application and educational intervention for social life and autonomous living. We show you the application, Maria, this application we saw. Yes. Particularly, it educates about self-care, emotion, traffic education, time sequence, observation, concentration, visual perception, cause, effect, social life, exploring the environment of students, etc. Another educational material, the utilization of arts in the education of students with disabilities from 3rd to 6th grades of primary school. These are artistic activities, exercises, and projects individually or in groups that creatively connect different learning areas and concern all areas of arts, such as painting, sculpture, engraving, ceramics, plastering, animation, paper folding, etc. It's very, very interesting. Universally designed math 5th grade of primary school for students with all disability. It's a new textbook, so we decided to adapt this. This textbook will be available in the following formats: plain text, enriched text format, highlighted, DAISY, sound performance, digital braille text format, imposed braille, enlarged print book, enlarged print, simplified text, easy to read, tactile imposed shapes in video format in Greek Sign Language with subtitles. Educational material for blind students, instruction for teaching Braille, reading and writing. It's a program for teaching Braille, reading and writing, and also education of blind students in mobility, orientation, and daily living skills. We'll show the application. A very interesting and innovative educational material is this about deaf-blind students through tactile sign communication. Tactical Sign Language Dictionary and Communication Vocabulary checklist have developed. It includes grouping of concepts into sections and separate issues, illustration of each concept with a tactile sketch, writing its concept in alphabetical and braille writing, pronunciation, instruction of any tactile meaning, the set of concept and tactile meanings in electronic formats, videos, instruction to the teacher and parents. One guide for the pedagogical evaluation of students by teacher on a common basis in order to develop the individualized educational program. It includes theoretical frameworks for assessment, instruction, step-by-step how to evaluate the students, qualitative and quantitative tools for assessment, checklist, questionnaire, and many types of assessment. This is an accessibility platform. We have design and development for our educational materials. And we have all the archive of educational material that have been developed for spatial and inclusive education in Greece in this platform named Prosvasimo, and this is the site. I will show it. This is the web page. And here we have all the educational material, main educational material. We can see, for example, this is fairy tales, many fairy tales and histories. We have to translate this. The model is deaf. Okay.
Maria, can you show again the address of the platform? Because people didn't see and they asked here again.
Of
And
course.
let a few seconds to focalize. The address of the
Είναι
platform.
πάρα πολλά. Πάρα πολλά. Yes. No. This is the.
Let it, 1 minute.
Yes. Accessible.
Log in or just get in and...
Without code, it's free.
So they don't have to log in and to make an account?
No. It's open. She wants to wait. Okay. And now I present the asynchronous distance learning platform. We have created an asynchronous training platform called IEPEX, iep.gr, with 33 online courses, massive open online courses that cover all the above training needs for continuous support of teachers and all those involved in the educational process. The platform has developed based on the Open EDX platform of Harvard and MIT University. This asynchronous distance learning platform enables the delivery of massive open online courses. We have developed 13 online free courses that horizontally cover all the basic training needs for the support of spatial and inclusive education. The courses are awareness raising of students and adults on issues of acceptance of disability and diversity, and development of inclusive culture in schools, development of social, emotional, and life skills and autonomous living for students with disability through social stories. Another course is educating students with autism spectrum disorder good practices for their school inclusion. Instruction for teaching Braille reading and writing, training of blind students in mobility, orientation, and daily living skills, education of deaf-blind students through tactile sign communication, the utilization of the visual arts in the education of students with disability from 3rd to 6th grades of primary school, the teaching of Greek Sign Language as the first language for 3rd and 4th grade of primary school, the education of students with mobility disability, digital application and educational intervention for social life and autonomous living, educating students with attention and concentration problems, good practices for their school inclusion, universally designed math 5th grade of primary school for students with disability, for all type of disability, the pedagogical evaluation in the context of spatial and inclusive education. These are the course of this training platform. The platform has an introduction tab that includes information about the platform, the courses, instruction, frequently asked questions, etc. We can see this platform. There is a your instruction guide in order to support all the users. Instruction tab of the course includes a video presentation of course and detailed description of the course. In the course tab, you can see information about the course, target groups, course objectives, summary of the course, prerequisites for better and more effective monitoring, curriculum vitae of the course development factor, as well as other information. So every participant can choose the course he or she prefer. This is example of a course outline, what it includes. It's example of course chapter with a video, introduction video. Course content. Each course includes theoretical framework and videotaped material, proposed activities, real-time videotaped activities from the application in the classroom. We have piloted all of this material in the class. Training material, the corresponding course material in PDF format, printable material, and assessment question of the acquired knowledge in each course. The writing concept of the parents has been secured for the publication of photos and videos of children activities. This is an example of self-assessment question. Question types of self-assessment course are true-false type question, checkbox type questions, multiple choice type questions, drag and drop question type. This is an example of course training evaluation questionnaire in the end of the course. So we have to be better about the job. And this is an example of course progress. Every participant can see his or her progress. And all this material you can navigate to the website of the project. I have showed it, prosvasimo. And I think that we can see the platform. This is the platform. This is the home page. This is all the courses. For example, this is the introductional tab. There is a short video that say about this course. It's me. And this all the details I said before. This is the units of the course. To inform every participant. So you can choose what he or her is interested in. And then we can see the course now. Here is the content. All the units. For example, this is the theoretical frameworks, and then we can see an action. Yes. It's an action in the classroom. This is a persona dolls. It's an action about awareness for diversity. Can I stop it? Yes, there are many actions and examples. And here are all the available materials for the teachers on the participants in training. Free, all these. This is a course about blind, and I would like to see an application that Maria have developed, VOX. For example, this section shows teachers how to do. He is a blind student, and his teacher learn him how to... Εδώ τι δείχνεται, Μαρία? Yes. How to be autonomous. She showed him step by step how to walk autonomous, yes. For example. Εδώ. She gives instructions. Okay. And thank you for your attentions. Θα δείξεις ποιο χαρακτήρα, θα δείξεις όμως που είναι.
I'll show you one application just to have an idea how quickly, yeah. Okay, thank you.
So, students, sorry. Okay, and Expressive, this one. I'm not used to use this, sorry. I have to get... Okay. Maria have developed this application on behalf of Institute of Educational Policy, so...
It's a game, actually. It's a type of educational game that aims in empower the children with mobility disabilities to get out of the house and go to different places to visit them. We want them to feel secure that they can manage it. So this is, let me enlarge it. Ναι, προσπαθώ. Oh, sorry, but I'm not used. Κάτσε να κλείσουμε αυτό. Okay, όχι, είναι δύσκολο. So, before the journey starts, the child can choose his or her hero. He may choose if it's boy or a girl, if it will have a chair, wild chair or not. And after that, he can change the color of the skin, the color of the eyes, of the type of the style of the hair, the color of the hair, the upper part of what is wearing. Maybe it's anything he wants, and the lower part. We need a skirt, yes, and the shoes. Then he can see the image of the hero on the mirror. And if he is happy, he can go out and choose. And the person who is going to escort him, I mean, maybe it's his mother or his or her father, the color again, the characteristics of the person, and then he can choose an activity. She can go for shopping. He can go to the metro station, move around using bus and metro and yes. Go to the to play to the garden, to the yes, can go. Yes, go to a birthday party, go to the museum, go to the cinema, go to the dentist. Let's have a sample of how he moves around. Here is the menu for each one activity. First, we show him the activity, and then we ask him questions on what, in order to be sure that he understood what he listened or he listened. Yeah. So this is the hero. The heroes the child has created. And now we have a dialogue. What you see here, it's an animated video, and it moves on by the child. So I'm pressing a button, and then the dialogue continues. Now the child asks for a skirt, for example, and the color. And she asks if he can try it on. The saleswoman agrees with that, and the child with her mother moves to the fitting room. Here we've used AI techniques in order the mother escort the child. Now she looks on herself on the mirror, and we have to declare if it's happy or not. If it's happy, the child is going to buy the clothes. Otherwise, he's going to choose another one. Oh, sorry. Okay. So asks if anybody likes the skirt, and they proceed and they buy it. This is the scenario in this activity. He can change what he would like to do. She can choose something else. Now she asks the saleswoman asks if the child needs something else. If she press OK, it will start all over again by choosing something else to wear, like a dress, and it goes on. We can see here the activities. Here the child can write down the story, her story. The feedback back. Here there are questions that the child has to answer in order to show that she understood the activity. Everything here, the child can hear everything actually. If she press the available button, even the question she can ask, she can hear. And after that, yes, we exercise his vocabulary as well. Here it's she has to match this part with the first part of a sentence. And it's going on. Here is an exercise of putting in the right order the photos. Anytime she can hear what the picture presents. And here the hand declares that we can, if we have available, the explanation of the picture in sign languages, here you can put the video. So the child puts the pictures on the right order, and then this is the reward. We have something else. Yes, another type of activity. Here is you have to choose and complete the sentence the right way. And it goes on. Here you have to compose a word by its letter. You can see the picture that represents the word you are looking for. Mm-hmm. No, for people, with children with disabilities, for physical disabilities. But everybody can use it. Because the initial idea that the teachers who wrote down the material had in mind the children with physical disabilities. And they had to get them out of the home. Now it's cryptology, so we call it in Greek. It's you have to find the hidden word here. And okay, this is the idea. There are too many different activities in different areas. Would you like me to show the Delphini autism as well? I have it here. So I'll have to change computer. Excuse me about that. This is Delphini. This is for autism. So here there are different, those pictures you see, they represent a part of a book, a school book. So this is the Happy Family. So before I start, I can choose if I want to show the words in pictograms, or in sketches, or in images, or pictures, I mean. So I can choose pictures right now, and this is how the text appears. I can choose over here to enlarge my screen or to make it smaller. I can have the whole of the text, or phrase by phrase.
Η γελαστή οικογένεια.
I can hear everything I see, I can hear it. I can put a word explanation of the picture with a word or no word. If I use word, I can put it up or down of the picture.
Η γελαστή οικογένεια.
And I can put select music or not. So you see, I can hear
γελαστή.
This picture, and I can also put sign video if I like, or animation if I like. Some parts of the some parts of the application I need to put animation. It's good. And over here I can write down what I read again. And it continues.
Η γελαστή οικογένεια. Η γελαστή οικογένεια. Και έτσι όλοι τους γελάνε.
This is the last phrase. I moved quickly to the last phrase. And then I can go to the exercises. And Oh, yeah, of course. So I can use now. We can see that we have adapted all the whole textbook. Yeah. In this format. Now you see the story in pictograms, white and black, no color at all. But if I like, I can select a pictogram and color it. Yeah, and go on. So there is another activity for the child. And we can see all the story if we want. Yeah. Where? Εδώ είναι η γελαστή. You need to see it with pictures. What do you mean? Yes, I can do it. I can show it different formats. This is color. Yeah. You have to select it. You cannot have. Yes. You can have pictures, sketches, or pictograms. With color. What? Okay, I select pictograms. You see? Another type of pictograms. Sketches. What do you need? Sketches? Black and white or color? Over here.
Yes, okay, yes. Okay.
Okay, so we can see the whole of the story. We can stop, we can hear the story. We can do anything
Canapé.
we want. And in the exercises, we have the exercises of different type. This is multiple choice. What else? Match. See, it's the
Βλέπω.
word, so I can
Τέλεια.
have to
Συνέχει
here.
πατέρας.
Father. over
Τέλεια.
here.
Συνέχει ζωγραφιά. Τέλεια.
Paint.
Συνέχει καναπές.
Painting and so
Μπράβο.
over here. And this is the reward. And yeah. Yes. The interesting part is if I get as in the software as a teacher, then I can create a new student very easily. Choose a student or create a new one. I can add new text, or adapt an old one. Yes. I can do the same with exercises. Here is the list of everything the application contains. And then I can choose a different a text, an exercise, in order to ask a student to do the whole the lesson, let's say. So it's easy for any teacher to choose which one student will yes. Yes. And the other part, interesting part, is that I can we can improve differentiated instruction. And this is another facility of the program. where I can choose from the words and present and make my own dictionary, let's say, to use in the classroom. So I've chosen the person who sells flowers, and I have the pictogram and the word of the picture. Or I can create a new word by using different pictures. For example, I can choose spaghetti, and this is, oh, sorry. I have to choose the another button. Παιχνίδια, γραφική ύλη. Sorry. Πού είναι τα φαγητά? Φαγητά. Yes, over 1,000. Anyway, I can combine wind with a plane, and then we have a new concept. And I can name it. I can give it a name and have a new concept that I will use to teach a particular student.
And isn't the previous format of a book?
Yeah.
Have you in the computer?
No, I don't think so. You mean the book?
Yes.
No, I don't think I have it. No, it's unaccompanied. Okay, this is what I have to show you. You've seen two different applications created for two different type of disabilities. Thank you very much.
Maria, this soft is free?
Yes.
Can you, what is the address?
Προσβάσιμο. All of this material are in προσβάσιμο. There are many educational material we can't show.
Okay.
Yes. Πήγαινε το λίγο.
Προσπαθώ. Λοιπόν, εδώ είναι στο δημοσιεύσεις παραδοτέα, όχι. Δεν δουλεύει με το δικό σου. Από εδώ, έλα. Να μην το ψάξω στο πρόσωπο δελφίνι.
Thank you very much for this presentation. We wrote on the chat of the YouTube channel, which is the address of this platform. I hope that Romanian participants and Romanian specialists will use these resources. We will have feedback from them maybe in a few days. Thank you very much for the presentation. Mulțumim mult că ați avut răbdare. Acum vă invităm la masă și o oră va dura masa, după care ne întoarcem cu prezentarea Andrei Năstase și a Naidei Filipoiu. Sunt câteva prezentări legate de evaluare și de prezentarea unor softuri din România. De data asta o să le vedeți ca să puteți să comparați. Da? Poftă mare! Ne vedem mai târziu. Un singur lucru mai vreau să vă mai precizez. După finalizarea evenimentului o să primiți pe adresele de e-mail un chestionar de evaluare, da, a evenimentului. Vă rog să răspundeți, pentru că nouă ne trebuie un anumit număr de răspunsuri, da? Bine, mulțumim!